How you doing, everyone? We are at Hitch Fit with Kent. Kent, where are you from?
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. So that's a 3-4 hour drive from us. He ended up, he couldn't do the one-on-one. Him and his wife, Julie's still going through the transformation. She's lost over 50 pounds thus far. So they've done phenomenal. They did the couples program. He's up in St. Louis, so they couldn't do the one-on-one. They opted to do the online personal training. He started day one at 201 pounds. Today, he stands at 147 pounds for a 54 pound loss. His waist around his belly button measured at 40 inches. Today, 29 inches for an 11-inch drop. Started somewhere around 28% body fat, and today he's at 8.2% for a 20.2% loss. He did this in 6 months. In 24 weeks, he ended up doing a 16-week plan and then added on because he wanted to get leaner, as you'll see in the pictures. So Kent, take us back to day one. Where did it all start? How did you get to the point that you were at 201 and out of shape? And what inspired you to start?
Well, I think just like everybody else, eating habits were probably the worst thing. I'm a police officer, and we don't eat properly at all anyway. Fast food and pizzas and all that other kind of stuff. And same thing, we would eat dinner at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and 9 o'clock my wife and I were hungry, so we'd order a pizza. So I think that's kind of how we got there. And of course, beer was also my...
beer is not good for the belly, fellas.
Yeah. So, I like my beer and stuff like that, and all that adds up. You have a couple beers, you get hungry, and you always eat bad, so...
Sure. Negatives always domino together. I always say it's like people that go out or even have a few drinks at home and kind of, they end up playing in with one another. What goes great with beer? Pizza goes great with beer. Doritos goes great with beer. Watching the game, you're eating chips and salsa and a couple beers. So, but over time, one day of that's not going to hurt you. But over time, a couple of years, and then all of a sudden you're 30, 40 pounds heavier, and then you're going, wait a minute. I used to be in shape. I used to be able to run. So. Now, one individual that inspired you, and you were buddies with him, was Chad Evans, who is a local guy, but he did the online training too, and I think he lost 40 or 50 pounds on it, and you saw his pictures. Go back to that day and when you saw those and just how were you feeling and whatnot at that point?
Well, Chad and I were fraternity brothers from CMSU, and of course we're Facebook friends, and one day he had posted something, I think, how he's going through the Hitch Fit program, but didn't really pay much attention to it until he put his transformation photo up there, and I looked at that, and I looked at the beginning, and I go, that's me, that's where I'm at.
Yep.
If he can do it, I can do it. So I looked into the program and decided it's for us, and then I know my wife was in the same boat with me, and we decided to do it together, and so that was kind of a defining moment. I got a hold of Chad on the phone, he explained to me how it was, and I think probably that night, I signed up.
Yeah. I remember that period of time because when Chad came out, I'm almost positive he was right at 200 or 201, 205, somewhere in that range, if I can remember right. I don't remember exactly, but he had lost right at 50 pounds or whatnot. So like you guys, his numbers are almost like identical with where he started and where you ended up and whatnot. So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your transformation. What was the hardest part? How long did it take you to start seeing results?
Well, I think the hardest part was just getting the information from you in the email and looking at that going, are you kidding me? I got to do all this exercising and eat this much food. And I remember day one eating my third meal of the day, and then a couple hours later I had to eat almost the same thing. I was like, no way I can eat this. So it took about a couple weeks to get the diet plan down right, and ever since then it's been smooth sailing, and it's just almost second nature to eat. And the best thing is I believe it's saved money. I don't eat out at work anymore. I take 2 grocery bags to work, and another thing is we would always argue about what we're going to eat for dinner.
Now we know. Chicken or fish or turkey. So through the transformation, I mean, obviously the visual side is there. You lost the weight. You start looking in the mirror. Your clothes started falling off of you. Tell us how you felt though, from day one to even a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in.
I feel like I got a lot more energy, especially going to the gym or running like that. When I got up to 7 miles in an hour a few times, and now I've kind of cut back to 30 minutes and just do it high intensity, more of a, I'm doing about 4.5 miles if I can in a half hour, and just having the energy. Before, about 9 years ago when I tried to lose weight, I could barely run 30 minutes. Now I can run an hour, and I feel like I could run a half marathon, although I, haven't got that high yet. But it's something, I just feel like I go and go and go, and definitely notice a lot different in the gym as far as my energy levels versus years past trying to get into a workout program.
So you're coming up to 40 years old here pretty soon. You're 38. Would you say that at this period of your life, it's one of the best times that you've been in your life?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
In high school, I was always thin. Never really had any muscle. Didn't play sports or anything like that. I feel like I'm way better than I ever was when I was a teenager as far as my fitness levels. And funny story is like I mentioned earlier, I'm a policeman, and one night some kids decided to run for me, and what the heck? So I got,
recently?
Yeah, but
so I'm not hearing this story too awesome.
No.
Yeah.
So I got out and I chased this kid, and I kept up with him. Remember, I'm in full uniform, gun belt that weighs 30-something pounds. I didn't catch him exactly. I chased him for a while. He wound up going down some backyards and a fence. But I caught up to him about 10 minutes later. He turned out to be an 18-year-old high school lacrosse kid, and I kept up with him wearing a full uniform.
Nice.
And he looked at me, and he's just like, I can't believe he kept up with me. And I was like, just think if I wasn't wearing all this, I would have had you.
I'm so interested because we've worked with so many police officers, over the last couple of years. I'd be really interested the direct correlation of you guys being much more fit and then catching criminals in situations like that, because you're faster. You're faster 40 pounds lighter, 50 pounds lighter.
Sure.
Your endurance is so much better. And unless these kids are top athletes like this kid, more than likely you're going to catch them. And you ultimately end up catching them anyways. But that's awesome. So from here on out, what are your goals? What are your new?
I want to keep going. I want to build more muscle. I mean, I've never looked like this in my life, and I've always seen people in magazines and everything like that going, I don't know how they did it. Well, now I know how they do it. So I'm going to keep it up. I'm go into a maintenance mode here, I guess, and still try to live my life and have fun with it. I really enjoy going to the gym now versus before. It was always a hassle.
Yeah. I always tell people, a lot of random people will write not understanding how much work and, positive choice making is involved in looking and feeling a certain way. And so I say, it takes making the right choices day in, day out, at least 90 to 95% of the day, of the week, of the month. The more poor mistakes you make, you're not going to end up getting to your goal. So try to keep your diet as tight as you possibly can, regardless if you work with us or try to do it on your own. Try to work out and try to be consistent with your workouts. Mix it up. Every 4 weeks we changed workouts, so it went from maybe a level of intensity that was tough for him day one to a level 4 weeks later, 8 weeks later, 12 weeks later, what you're capable of doing now compared to what you were doing then. If I would have had you do what you're doing now then, there's no way you would have succeeded.
Oh, I remember day one in the gym just going, there's no way I'm going to ever get through this. But I kept going at it, and the program is nothing new. I've always known how to eat right. I've always known how to work out. Never put it together.
Yeah.
I would, in the past, I would go to the gym and then come home and
eat pizza.
Yep. So I wasn't, doing anything effective. So,
Yeah.
And it's been great. I mean, I knew I could do it, but I'm here now, and that's how I'm happy.
Well, we're very, very proud of you. I mean, you're absolutely a huge inspiration and motivation to people that are going to watch this. I mean, like with Chad, Chad came in and he's like, oh, I won't be in. I go, trust me, you will, because what you did is phenomenal. 50 pounds, over 50 pounds is a small child, you know, and you lost it in a very short amount of time relative, and you know, we're just very, very proud of you as a whole, and just try to inspire as many people as you can. If someone comes up to you and, you know, how did you do it? You know, just say, you know, give them some pointers and stuff. You'll get a lot of it. It'll be a second job for you, but it's a great place to be in. You know, when people are looking up to you.
And when people are at work, you know, they look at you, and some people kind of, they don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, you're eating chicken again. Well, tough, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. I don't care what you think.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Another thing I forgot to mention is earlier is 2 weeks into this, I had septoplasty. I had nasal surgery, and I was out for a week. And I remember you just said, you know, just try to eat right, it'll be fine. I just remember like 2 days afterward, I'm on a treadmill walking. My wife Julie's like, "You better stop." I'm like, no,
I can't
I'm
stop.
going, you know, I'm walking, and because I felt fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't off work. I was off for work for 2 weeks, so I had to do something. So
Yeah.
I tried to pick with it, but yeah, I'll tell you what, those first 2 weekends starting this were hard because it was a father-son weekend. Where all the dads, you know, have fun, eat whatever they want, and drink beer out camping at a local at the YMCA Trout Lodge, and then a week later with my brother-in-law's 40th birthday party. So we did good.
You didn't crack. You didn't crack.
I knew if I got through those 2 weekends, everything else would be a piece of cake, and it has been.
What I always tell people in the first part of the motto that we spread is you have to believe in yourself initially, but you got to be ready. You have to be ready for change. You saw Chad's deal and you were like, I can do this. If he did this, I can do this, and that's what it took.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, you know, other things for people, not just the visual side of pictures, but they have to be ready in their life, and you definitely were, and proved that, and thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Definitely check out Kent on hitchfit.com, and thanks you guys for following.